How do you plead, Mr. Kohberger, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Bryan Kohberger admitting to the brutal stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students in North Idaho.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, enter the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder?
Yes.
The heinous crimes and subsequent manhunt terrifying the small North Idaho town of Moscow.
Defendant entered the residence, went to the 3rd floor, and with a knife, killed Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez.
And did you, on that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being?
Yes.
Did you kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being?
Yes.
Now, nearly 3 years later, the murderer accepting a plea deal and admitting guilt to avoid a possible death sentence just weeks before his trial was set to start. Is it justice? Tonight, mixed emotions from the victims' families.
You don't deal with terrorists, and you don't deal with people who kill your kids in their sleep. So, we'll never see this as justice.
Idaho News 6 starts with breaking news.
Thanks for joining Idaho News 6. I'm executive reporter Karen Lair. Team coverage tonight from neighborhood reporters in Ada and Latah counties. It's a story that's gripped the nation and one we followed for you from the very beginning. After years of hearings, delays, and relocations, it comes to an abrupt and unexpected end. Bryan Kohberger pleading guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary in the gruesome stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. Our neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker spent the morning in the courtroom and joins us with the details.
Good evening, Karen. Yeah, behind me is where the line started before 5 a.m. as members of the public and the press gathered for what would become a major moment in this case. I was inside the courtroom today as Bryan Kohberger pleaded guilty to murdering 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. And though he only really spoke one word, we did hear him speak. In a packed courtroom, victims' families sat tightly on the right side as Bryan Kohberger entered in khakis, a fresh haircut, and a button-down shirt. Kohberger's parents were also present, seated quietly behind the defense table. The hearing began with stern words from Judge Stephen Hippler, who addressed growing public pressure on the court.
This court will never take into account public sentiment in making an opinion. Courts should, and I always will, make decisions based on where the facts and the law lead me. Period.
He emphasized the plea agreement came together quickly, saying even he didn't know about it until Monday afternoon when most of the public found out. After opening remarks, the court moved to the business of the day. Kohberger pleaded guilty to all 5 counts, 4 murders and 1 burglary, waiving his right to appeal and agreeing to 4 consecutive life sentences without parole. He spoke softly but clearly as the judge asked.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
As the judge read the names of each victim, Kohberger pled guilty to each charge.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being?
Yes.
Did you, on or about that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Kaylee Gonzalez, a human being?
Yes.
And did you, on that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being?
Yes.
And then on or about November 13th, 2022, again in Latah County, Idaho, did you kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being?
Yes.
The state detailed months of cell phone and surveillance data, the recovered knife sheath, and what prosecutors say was a meticulously planned crime by a man who studied how to cover his tracks. The trial is now officially vacated, and Kohberger will be sentenced on July 23rd. That's when victims' families will have the chance to speak directly to the court in their victim impact statements. But what happens now legally? I spoke with former Idaho Attorney General David Leroy about the next steps in the process and how sentencing works in a case like this.
The only possible moment that this guilty plea could have come about was exactly now.
That's how former Idaho Attorney General David Leroy described Tuesday's pivotal court hearing, calling it a legal and emotional turning point, just in the nick of time before tens of thousands of juror questionnaires were distributed.
This was a very well-run hearing by Judge Hippler, where he was absolutely careful and precise, very careful that the defendant understood his rights and that Mr. Kohberger understood all of the rights that he was waiving. And then the judge went very carefully through each of the crimes, each of the elements of each of the crimes, and had Mr. Kohberger agree that he committed each and every specific element.
Leroy says Kohberger's verbal admissions left no room for doubt. Kohberger waived his right to appeal, and with both sides skipping a pre-sentence investigation, Leroy says it underscores how unusual and tightly structured this plea deal was.
The only possibility for a plea on the dreadful facts of this case was that the defendant would plead to all counts, agree to all maximum sentences, and agree to waive all appellate rights.
Now, Dawn, I was inside the courtroom, and there was a lot of emotion from the family. Both of the victims and actually Kohberger's parents were there as well, and they were showing some emotion throughout as well.
I can imagine what it was like inside. Outside here, anticipation, waiting for family members to arrive and waiting for family members to come out and speak with the media. A couple of dozen media. It was a packed house outside as well. It was pretty clear what was happening inside the Ada County Courthouse with one look at what was happening outside. Dozens of media outlets from all around the country came to Boise for a plea agreement hearing for murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. Since the early morning hours, media crews were setting up camp waiting to hear from the family members of the 4 University of Idaho students who were stabbed to death in their off-campus house in 2022.
Is this justice?
No.
No.
Kaylee Gonzalez's family arrived, but Kaylee's father, Steve, did not go in. He decided not to go as a protest to the plea agreement. I caught up with Steve as he was walking away from the courthouse. How's the family holding up?
We're all disappointed. We're very disappointed. We worked too long, too hard for half-ass efforts.
Is that directed towards Judge Hippler?
Hippler hasn't done anything. He inherited this. Hopefully he can fix it. I'm not blaming nothing on Hippler. I'm putting this all on Thompson and Latah County. You know, they tore that house down. They've done everything to hide this. Why did this get done over the weekends? As soon as the investigation starts, they're cowards. They're running from it.
When the hearing was over, Steve came back to meet his family, and I asked him if he changed his mind at all. Steve, did your opinion of the Latah County prosecutor change after hearing him lay out the case that he would have presented?
No. Just furthermore, he had the strongest case, and it was a case given to him by the FBI agents, and he just let it slip through his fingers.
Was there anything he said that surprised you?
No, not really.
Attorney Leander James, representing family members of victim Madison Mogen, says the Mogen family is pleased with today's proceedings and agreed the plea deal was the best option to move forward.
We support the plea agreement 100%. While we know there are some who do not support it, we ask that they respect our belief that this is the best outcome possible for the victims, their families, and the state of Idaho. We now embark on a new path. We turn from tragedy and mourning. We turn from darkness and uncertainty of the legal process to the light of the future. We have closure.
While some victims' families have been outspoken from the start, we've heard very little from Bryan Kohberger's family leading up to this change of plea. They did issue a statement through their allow the legal process to continue unfolding with respect to all parties and will not release any further statement. Reporting live from the Ada County Courthouse in downtown Boise, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.
Coming up, senior reporter Roland Barris joins us from Moscow at a special site where some residents are still reflecting and healing after the stabbings that rocked their community.
Small community of Moscow experienced the terror of Kohberger's crimes. Those uncertain weeks after the shocking murders left students and other residents on edge. Senior reporter Roland Barris spent the day in Moscow, where some residents are still working to heal and move on.
And we are here at the Vandal Healing Garden and Memorial. This is put together to honor all students who have died at the university, including, of course, those 4 who were murdered in this particular case. And I want to just show you around here really quickly, because it shows you how much this has been used. Obviously, it came about in the past year because of the murders of Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Consalvis, Maddie Mae Mogan, and Xana Kernodle. You can see down below there is a candle and some flowers, and they are changed out from time to time by staff here. And then over here you can see what is available to help people deal with all that has happened in this case as they try and get their head around it all. And beautiful little nooks here where you can sit and reflect. You can write notes that people have left there. You can light these artificial candles and leave rocks. A lot of times it is very common for people to leave rocks in remembrance of a loved one. And so it's a great place for people to come and heal. And although it is summertime right now, there aren't students here. Surely there will be plenty of use of this site now that this whole case has come to a close. Reporting from Moscow, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, Idaho News 6.
Coming up after the break, we'll look back at the early days of the investigation, the weeks of manhunts, and the months and years of pretrial hearings and delays that brought us to this plea deal.
The brutal murders shocked the small college town of Moscow, Idaho, nearly 3 years ago. On November 13, 2022, 4 students were found stabbed to death in an off-campus home. Best friends Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan, and a young couple, Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, all between 20 and 21 years old. For 6 weeks, the community sat on edge as police urged people to report tips and comb through surveillance footage as they searched for that suspect. Then, on December 30th, news of an arrest.
Detectives arrested 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
And a name we heard for the first time as police took Bryan Kohberger into custody in the middle of the night at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Just days later, this video was made public, showing Bryan Kohberger on that cross-country trip home with his father, driving from Washington to the Poconos when he was stopped by police twice for following too closely. Investigators eventually said Kohberger's DNA matched the DNA found on the knife sheath left behind at the crime scene. Prosecutors also say he was the masked man seen by a surviving roommate in the house at the time of the murders. We quickly learned Kohberger was a criminal justice graduate student at nearby Washington State University, only about a 15-minute drive from the University of Idaho. Days after his arrest, Kohberger was flown back to Idaho to face a judge in Latah County. Just a few months later, a grand jury indicted him on those 4 first-degree murder charges and 1 count of burglary. That same year, crews demolished the house where the murders took place nearly a year after Kohberger's arrest. The case has seen several developments since then, including when his trial was moved from Moscow to Boise due to extensive media coverage. That same month, Kohberger was booked into the Ada County Jail. Then in October of last year, a judge set Kohberger's trial date for August 2025. In recent months leading up to that trial date, much of the previously sealed evidence was made public, including a 911 call released in March.
911 location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something's happened in our house. We don't know what.
Then in May, details leaked in a 2-hour Dateline special led to another push by the defense to delay the trial. This comes after several attempts to get the death penalty taken off the table, citing a variety of concerns, including Kohberger's autism diagnosis and claims that the death penalty violates his constitutional rights. Now, in a last-ditch effort to avoid execution, just 6 weeks before trial, Bryan Kohberger tells the world he's guilty and prepares to spend the rest of his life in Idaho State Prison.
Coming up, amidst all the grisly details of the investigation, the ever-present cameras, and all the courtroom drama, we can't forget the people most affected by Kohberger's crimes, the victims and their families. After the break, a closer look at the young people whose lives were senselessly ripped away too soon. The shocking nature of the U of I stabbings put a heavy focus on finding justice for the perpetrator, Bryan Kohberger. But in the end, he's just another criminal. The sooner forgotten, the better. Tonight, we end our newscast by honoring those worth remembering, the victims. Beyond the headlines and crime scene photos, they were people with passions and big dreams for the future. Here's how we hope to remember those 4 Idaho students gone too soon.
4 University of Idaho students whose dreams were cut short. The victims, all friends and part of the University of Idaho's Greek system. Madison Mogan. Friends call her Maddie. The 21-year-old senior was a marketing major with a bright future ahead of her. She ran social media for a local restaurant and was known for her warm smile and kind heart. Friends say Madison loved country music and spending time with her family and boyfriend. Her father described her as the best person you could ever meet. Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison's best friend since 6th grade. The 21-year-old senior had just accepted a job in Austin, Texas, and was planning a post-graduation trip to Europe. She was a general studies major with plans to pursue a career in law. Kaylee's family remembers her adventurous spirit and how she loved spending time with her dog, Murphy. Her sister said Kaylee was the one who glued us all together. Xana Kernodle was a 20-year-old junior studying marketing. Friends describe her as a positive, funny person and someone who could lift spirits in any room she entered. Xana worked at a Greek restaurant near campus and was known for her strong work ethic. Her father said she was tough as nails and fought for her life until the very end. She had recently celebrated her birthday with her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin. Ethan was a 20-year-old freshman studying recreation, sport, and tourism management. He was a triplet, with his brother and sister also attending the University of Idaho. Friends remember Ethan for his infectious smile and love of sports, especially basketball. His mother described him as our comedian, who always made everyone laugh. The Chapin family has since created Ethan's Smile, a foundation dedicated to helping students participate in sports and recreation. These 4 young people were more than victims of a terrible crime. They were sons and daughters, friends and classmates, each with dreams and plans for the future. Their lives continue to be celebrated by those who knew and loved them. The University of Idaho has established memorial scholarships in each of their names. Their legacies live on through the memories shared by family, friends, and a community that will never forget them.
Good evening, everyone. Coming up tonight at 6, we're going to have a detailed outlook on our weather forecast here. I do want to get you up to date on this storm system here. It is a pretty powerful storm system, wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles per hour and pea-sized hail. This is southern Ada County, south of Boise here. It continues to track towards the north and could clip Boise here just before, say, 6 o'clock or so. This is the estimated track in time at 5:45, getting up towards Pleasant Valley and Cunamore, mostly east of Cuna with the storm system. I'm going to track this storm system plus some strong wind coming in later this evening. Maybe around 9 o'clock we'll get a wind gust of 50 miles per hour or 40 to 50 depending where you are. The extended forecast calls for more storms possible tomorrow, likely during the 4th of July, and then sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. I'll have more of that coming up tonight on Idaho News 6 at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.